Well, I'm gonna make another one of these speaks. I'm gonna talk this one about. I mentioned early on one of these things that I was going to talk more about the boys up on Second Avenue there in Dallas. That when I was young, when I had first built my car and everything, and I remember I was sitting here thinking about it, and I remember way back there when I first went up there. I didn't know any of those boys, but my wife's sister, Peggy, her name was Peggy Henson. She married a dude named Charles Sandlin, and I remember him. I remember I was sitting in there was it wasn't a hamburger. It was kind of a ice cream soda shop, ice cream place or something where it had bar stools in it where you could sit at a counter. I can't exactly remember what the name of it was. But I remember sitting in there, and I was sitting next to a guy, and I didn't know the guy I was sitting next to. In fact, there were several people sitting at that counter, and I don't think I knew any of them. I was in there to get a soda pop or something. I don't know what I was there for. But anyway, this Charles Sandlin, I don't know that I ever knew him before. I knew that she had. I don't know that. I think this was before she married him. I can't be real sure about that. But anyway, he walked into this place, and the guy that was sitting on the stool just to my right, boy, he walked. I mean to tell you, he whopped him a good one. I didn't know what the devil was going on. I didn't. I wasn't looking at it when it happened, and when I turned around to look at it, this guy he had fell off in the floor. And him and Sandlin was going after it. I think he'd gotten up, and him and Charles Sandlin was going after it. And I don't know. Everybody kind of got out of the place. I went outside, and I don't remember how all that come out. But I don't know why I even remembered that. But the reason I guess I remembered it is because Peggy, my ex-wife's sister, married him, and she wasn't married to him very long. I understand he was kind of a deadbeat. He wouldn't. I think he wouldn't work, as I understand. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Just what was. I only saw him maybe once, twice. That was one time when he knocked the devil out of that guy who was sitting next to me, and I don't even know what that was all about. I didn't know the guy very well. I just saw him. But anyway, I wanted to talk about that. Then I want to, while I'm on this thing, I want to tell you about my trip that I started to go to the tip of South America. I bought me a '55 Chevy pickup, and I built me a little cabin on the back of it. I say cabin. It was one of those deals where I made it so I could live in it, and I overhauled the engine, and boy, I had it all spiffied up. It was running real good. But the only problem was that when you'd get it up to around 30, 40 miles an hour, the rear end would kind of whine a little bit. And so I'd never worked on a rear end before, but I had overhauled the motor in it, and it had a standard transmission. And I don't remember whether I had to work on that or not, but anyway, it had one of those grandma gears in, we called them. Boy, I mean to tell you, when you put it in grandma gears, it just barely moved, but it would pull. As the saying was back in those days, and excuse my language, but when you put it in grandma, they said it would pull hell off the cross. It just barely did go, and it was, I don't know, about a four gear transmission, something like that. I don't know, but it's one of those stick kind where it's stuck way up, and I had me a pool. I had drilled me out a pool ball stuck up on it as the gear shift knob from the floor. Anyway, I was really proud of that little old thing. I decided that I had a lot of vacation coming up, and when I had saved up a lot of vacation, And I built that old truck. It wasn't my main car. It was just, I don't know if I probably had a couple of, I wound up having a whole bunch of cars during my life. I was a collection of junk, you know. But anyway, I fixed that thing up, and I fixed it up where I could live in it, you know. It had me little tables in there and a bed and everything in that little thing back there. And I actually decided that I was going to drive it to the tip of South America. And it's kind of a dumb thing to even think about. But like I told you before, I was almost as bad as my brother. I'd had some harebrained schemes, you know. But at any rate, that wine in that rear end, I've never taken the rear end apart before. But I pulled both the wheels off of it and the axles out of them and all that. And sure enough, there went between the gear that come back. They got a name for it. Darn, I should have wrote it down so I wouldn't have to sit here and stop them. They had God dog it, I wish I'd have wrote that down, because now I can't think of the long rod that goes down to turn the rear end. They got a name for it. Feel like a darn idiot. I should have wrote that down so I wouldn't sit here acting like an idiot, couldn't remember it. But oh well, it doesn't matter. The transmission come out when you get it out of the transmission. There's a rod-like thing goes back to the rear end. They all got them little gears on them that they got a name for those two, and I can't think of that. Oh Lord, I should have wrote down some stuff for this. But anyway, suffice it to say that this rear end had a little bit of play in it. And so I decided that I was going to adjust all that play, and they had some, big gears back there, big gears, little gears and stuff that turned those wheels. That it's kind of you'd have to take one apart. I couldn't explain to you how it worked, where one thing drives two wheels the same way on each side. I don't know, they got a name for it and I can't even think of that. But anyway, if you ever take one apart, you would notice the way it was put together, that it worked real well. Of course, it heavy oil. You had heavy oil in there. But anyway, there was some play in that stuff, and I decided it would flop back and forth there, and I was moving it, and I decided that that's probably where that whining was come from. So I adjusted it all up, and I put it all back together. And of course, I got me some new wheel bearings on each side. And I put it, grease, they had grease shields and stuff on it. And all them old cars, they had all kind of different stuff in what to do on newer cars. This was an old car, 55 Chevy, I believe it was. Anyway, I got it all back together. And boy, I fixed up the seat in the front, and and I don't think I bought a new steering wheel for it, but I piffied up the one I had. I got me a big old. They were selling them at these car shops where you go in, auto parts houses where you go in and buy a little thing, go around it'd go around your steering wheel, and I had that all. Had me a little thing hanging down from the mirror. Shoot, I hadn't put me some. I don't believe I bought any seat covers. I might have made them myself. I don't remember where I got, but I had it all fixed up. Boy, they had me some rubber mats in the floor, and I didn't paint the thing. It had an old paint job on it, but I had it all washed up. It wasn't too bad. It didn't look too bad. But I think it had the original paint job on it, which, Lord, it was an old time. It had a few rusted spots in them, but I think I had taken some of those spray paint cans and got it close as I could to the color that it was, and kind of sanded it down and sprayed over that a little bit. I don't remember, but I had it up where I thought it was pretty spiffy, and I was all ready to go to South America. Boy, there ain't no doubt about that. Oh boy. So I got me a bunch of money together, and I got it. I put it in that truck and hid it. So I figured I'd heard that there was bandits down in lower part of Mexico, and I figured that if they stopped me or whether I would hide that money where they wouldn't steal it, because you got to go back. I told you I was a nitwick, God. But said, don't worry about it. I never made it. I never even made it out of Texas. You know? Ah, Lord have mercy. I started out. Oh, Lord. The dog's going crazy again. Anyway. Oh, crap. I'll quit the thing.